What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of StreamKey. We are back today during this coronavirus quarantine time. And sorry for not being able to do it last week. We had some issues, but we're back again. We got MPI running the show today, so if things look a little bit different, that's why. So, starting off with MPI, the one and only, the dude who's helping us run this behind the scenes and everything. What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? I'm glad to be back here.
Oh, you're muted, bro.
I'm muted? How
Pro
am I
streamer.
Muted? How am I muted?
You're so muted.
Now
Still muted.
I'm trying to run two things at once. This is hard.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Oh, wait, hold on.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I fixed it. Everything's fine.
Totally fine.
I totally know what I'm doing. I'm running the show today, kids. How y'all doing?
I'm making Vince look really good right now.
Hey, I'm sorry. Is this my job?
True.
Where my money at?
Vince, pay up, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, I was really enjoying being Sadomi there.
All
for a
right,
moment.
there we go. I had to fix like 4
Out of
things.
body experience.
All right, hold on. I'll take us back to the starting screen, and we'll start over. It'll be fine.
Totally normal podcast today.
Start the recording over.
All right, take 2.
Welcome to StreamKey. We're back and damn it, you got me all messed up. Anyway, so MPI, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you guys? I'm doing fantastic.
So good, dude. So good. DrDisrespect, welcome back, man. How you doing, bro?
Not bad. Thank you so much for having me again.
For sure. And as always, the amazing co-host Sadomi. What's up, my guy?
Tom Nook, let me free, please.
Sadomi just woke up, if you guys couldn't tell. All right, so we got some topics today, some pretty good ones. I mean, we haven't been on in like 2 weeks or so, and with the coronavirus going on, there's so much to talk about. First thing, really juicy topic, Amaranth was banned again. Next topic, SoundCloud teams up with Twitch to help musicians. Do you guys want to talk about Amaranth getting banned? Like, is anyone surprised at all? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
What'd she get banned for? I didn't actually hear
I think she was wearing a bikini on a stream, and it was a pretty visual bikini, I guess is a way to put it. And then she
Revealing?
revealing, and then she was on a flotation device in her pool.
Oh,
And-
I think I missed that. I don't think you sent us that topic.
No, I didn't, because I didn't think we'd actually be talking about it.
Oh, okay. That's what I was like. We're talking about it?
No, but yeah, so she did Amaranth stuff, you know.
You know,
She did what she do.
Yeah,
Oh my god. So anyways, Amaranth got banned. Next topic, SoundCloud teams up with Twitch to help musicians. This is actually really cool. So because of, coronavirus being a thing and, people not being able to go and, do meet and greets or do like live performances or anything like that, SoundCloud teamed up with Twitch. And if they have SoundCloud Pro, Premiere, or Repost, all those creators will get their Twitch affiliate fast tracked, which is pretty cool. Obviously they're trying to help people out as much as possible, and Twitch will end up obviously making more money because of it as well. So, what do you guys think about that? We'll start with DrGaming here.
As a musician and my experience in audio, I think this is fantastic. This, it's come obviously through this awful situation, but this is really going to change the way musicians can look to earn money. The big problem for musicians nowadays is that unless you are one of the big names like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Madonna, someone like that, you are not making money when you sell CDs. You do not make. You make a fraction of a pence per CD. Most of your revenue comes from gigs and selling merchandise. And so right now, obviously, that really puts musicians on a money losing situation because of Corona, unable to do gigs. But beyond this current situation, this is really going to change the way that music is. Musicians earn their money. This is a long-term thing that will benefit in the real long term, and we'll actually 2 or 3 years down the line, we'll see an effect in music because of it. more people will get into it. More people will try to make music and make music for money. And as someone who loves music, that's a good thing. You know, some of the best music in the world is made by the least known people, you know.
Right, exactly.
The creativity out there and the experiences people have to share. So this is wonderful. This is a great step forward, and I'm glad to see it because it is going to help a lot of musicians who would have no real other means of earning money at the moment. Yeah, I think it's great.
All right, Sadomi.
So as with everything happening on Twitch, with every time anyone gets any kind of special pass, someone's going to complain about it. So I assume someone's going to complain about it on Twitter, like, "Oh, they get affiliate. I've been streaming for 2 years. I haven't had affiliate yet." Well, you know,
yeah, that's definitely going to happen for sure.
But I think one thing is you can't really compare live being there music experience to a stream music experience, because I listen to a lot of live like a lot of music streamers, a lot of music broadcasts, and even the live versions of songs don't really compare. It's such a different feeling. So, I mean, I think it's a cool side source, but I don't think it'll ever replace, you know, physical being. And with, you know, people not being able to gather because of the, you know, whole worldwide pandemic we're part of, I don't think it's going to do as well as people think it's going to do.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out in the future, and you know, I mean, I think it'll do pretty okay for right now while everybody's quarantined, because obviously people want to stay in touch with, you know, whatever artists they're trying to follow and, you know, who they enjoy. But still a cool feature. I mean, like you said, it might not pan out to be like it's at the end of the day, it's still just affiliate ship. You know what I mean? It's not like instant access to unlimited wealth or anything. It's you know, you're an affiliate on Twitch, and it depends on what you do with that. Basically, it all depends on what the creator does themselves, obviously. MPI. Oh yeah, go ahead, dog.
I mean, that's true, and I mean, I agree with a lot of what Sadomi said there. That this isn't in long term. This isn't going to be something for big streamers. Big musicians to use. This is your gigging artists. You know, these are your people. These are your people that are gigging 2 and 3 times a week or more. You know, on local circuits. That's where they make it. The big artists can use it to make connections with their fans that they can't make elsewhere. You know, and you're right. The experience will be different, but it will also have that ability to talk to an artist in a way that you haven't yet. So that you're right. The experience, the live experience, is different. But it does have its bonuses. Sorry, I jumped back in there.
No, you're good. You're good, dude. Yeah. MPI, what do you got about this topic, my dude?
So I can see where we're going to get complaints of people who are going to be like, well, you know, such and such band has a reach, so they're going to steal my viewers. No. I love it, man. I think it's great. So I'm a huge fan of music in general, and I don't really get to go to a lot of shows because where I live, we don't get a lot of tours. We don't have a venue for anything other than like big arena tours. So like we get 400 country artists a year. We get the same 5 rock bands that tour through every other year or so, and that's about it. That's really all that happens here. So being able to see like bands that I enjoy, like hardcore bands and stuff that don't come play here, play on Twitch or live on their, you know, their Instagram feeds, wherever, is great. So taking the exact same thing with the SoundCloud artists, who that might be their main source of income, and throwing it to where now they can perform live and people can still give them money, is great. I mean, if you're upset about that, you're wrong. Like, opinions normally can't be wrong, but you're wrong, dude. There's no reason to be upset about this. This is, in my opinion, good for anyone involved. You know, we're in a time that none of us have ever seen in our lives. You know, you're gonna have to adapt and overcome some stuff. And if we can do things like this to help artists who are basically now out of a job, do it.
Absolutely, it's very cool to see, and I can't wait to see like what else like other companies are gonna do to, you know, partner with Twitch or whatever they can, because right now obviously is the best time to get into live streaming, you know, stuff, because that's really the only way to get anything is, through Twitch or Mixer, YouTube, whatever it is that you want to go through. So it's cool to see, people start to adapt to that. And it'll be interesting to see, like, once this whole coronavirus thing is over, it'll be cool to see how those things are still implemented and if, they're still doing well.
That's what I'm interested in, is like how many of these musicians that would be coming in like from SoundCloud to take advantage of this, or just in general are coming in to do this, are going to still use this platform when they can go on tour again. Like, will they, sometimes live stream a set while they're on tour and just it'll be like, hey, we're touring the East Coast. The whole West Coast can't see us right now. Why don't we throw like the first show of the tour up so people can see like what songs we're playing live, what the set looks like, that kind of stuff, and then after that go back to sorry you have to come to the shows, but
but it also gives them the opportunity to start doing unique back scene stuff. Like like after once they can gig again, they can still use this to give access in a way that they haven't been able to before, connect with fans in a different way. So it is, and I think, for the biggest artists, that would be the reality of it. It's not going to, as we were saying, it's not going to take over from them filling stadiums. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But it can be another revenue stream, and it can be another way of connecting with the fans. So I honestly think it will change the way that the certainly mid-range musicians and lower start approaching the music industry.
Yeah, and I think it'll be really cool for the creative directory in general, because that's always been kind of like, it's always seemed to be like an afterthought. And I remember I haven't paid attention to the creative directory in a while, but I remember a while ago, if you had like 200 to 300 viewers in the creative directory, you were essentially like the ninja or the Tim the Tap Man of creative, because like that was the peak. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how much growth creative streamers see after this, quarantine dilemma, and hopefully like it continues to stay that way, after everyone's, still able to go outside again and, go to actual events. I think it'll be really cool for the creative directory, and everybody's been working so hard in that space already.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, if you guys have any questions about that, make sure to, at myself and at TRUgaming in the chat, and we'll answer your questions as we go. So next topic we have is Twitch is the new home of entertainment in the wake of coronavirus. There's gonna be a lot of coronavirus topics today, obviously. But during this time, live streamer viewership grew over 66% in Italy, because they are on like an actual like complete lockdown. And so obviously viewership has gone up quite a bit. 66% over live streaming in general is a huge number. Australia went up 20%. Twitch's global viewership has gone up 10%, which is pretty cool. YouTube gaming viewership has gone up 15%. So obviously people are consuming more live content, like we were just saying. It's just cool to see, the real numbers. Obviously they're not like, the number from Italy is crazy. 66% is nuts. But the other numbers aren't necessarily staggering by any means, but still cool to see. What do you guys have to say about that topic? We'll start with Sadomi.
It's one of those things that if you have been taking a really deep look at the whole situation, you'd be surprised not to see it. Because so I went on Facebook, and I never go on Facebook. There's a whole different audience on Facebook than people who I'm used to. People who I'm used to around on Discord, on Twitter, on the internet. A lot of us are just generally homebodies, like in general. So this is kind of business as usual for a lot of us. But then on Facebook, some people are freaking out, like, guys, let's do video calls. I haven't seen someone in like a day. I'm like, it's been 3 weeks. Go away, have fun. So, I mean, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of people pick up new hobbies. People find new things, keep them busy. You're gonna see a lot of new faces all around, all different online communities, just because it's what else do people have to do, especially people who are so used to being not at home on their PCs or on their like phones all the time. So we'll have a lot of different people coming in. That's so expected. And I think this is a really weird time for streamers in general, because while yes, there are more people coming onto the platform, you just have to take into account it's a different audience, different climate, and also it's like I said, I have a very, I don't want to say pessimistic view, but coronavirus is going to change a lot of industries for the future. It's going to go digital, and people who are already used to being on digital platforms are going to have a very strong advantage when this ends sometime like in winter next year.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of something that Sadomi mentioned there, and I've seen some people doing it, like our own friend Gamer Dad, have just literally been turning on their stream and hanging out. Like he turns on a stream, has mutes his microphone when he has to do a work phone call or anything, and then after that he's just socializing with people. And I did that Saturday night actually. So my wife and I share an office in our house. Her desk is like right over there compared to mine. And it was a mess in here. Like there was just stuff thrown everywhere. This room kind of becomes like I don't know what to do with this thing, so we just kind of throw it in here. So Saturday night we cleaned it. We set up my webcam up higher and just listened to music, chatted with anybody who wanted to come be social and hang out, and clean the office. That's all we did. And I shared it on Facebook and all my social media that I don't necessarily always share my stream on, and had people coming in who have never watched Twitch before. Like my cousin from a few states away who is not into gaming or Twitch or anything like that made an account just to say hi and chat with us because we hadn't talked in a while, and it was another way for us to connect, and they could see me and hear me talking. So that alone is a huge thing that you can be doing right now, as Twitch kind of takes over as entertainment because there's interaction there. You can sit and watch Netflix or Hulu or whatever you want all day, and that's great content. Please consume it and enjoy it. But there's no interaction there. You
Right.
watch it, you go, cool, that was good. And then you might like hop on Twitter and talk about it, or maybe even the subreddit for a TV show if you're super into it. But you're not talking to anyone really. So on Twitch, you have that option you type, they say something back to you, and it's like, oh my God, I just interacted with the person on my screen, and it's a whole new world to people. So
Right.
I think that's a huge thing that we're going to see a lot more of. And if you've ever wanted to try making different content outside of what you already do, if you focus on gaming, but you're also, say, a musician, now would be the time to hop on Twitch on like one day a week and play some music. Because you've got new people coming in that have never been on the platform before and are looking to see what's happening. So it's the perfect time to try new stuff like that.
Absolutely. And I know there's obviously been an increase of people asking about how to stream on Twitch or any platforms in general. And we will be talking about that later on in the show, just to let everybody know, because I know there are people that have been interested in doing this kind of stuff. But yeah, really cool stuff. And like you said, just doing like a cleaning stream, basically, where you're just kind of hanging out playing music, like anything. It's just cool to have the interaction, because obviously these days we're not getting as much of it right now.
Yeah. And not even to like focus on numbers. And as always, we say like numbers aren't always the focus, but that just chatting and cleaning stream, I had more people in it than were watching my Doom Eternal stream on Friday. And
oh, wow.
Again, not to focus on like numbers or anything, had more like interaction as far as like follows, subscriptions, and even like PayPal tips than I've seen. And that's not, I'm not telling you to do that because you're going to get rich off of it, because I'm still not rich off of it. But it's if you're in this to make some money on the side or as a business, that's a thing to look at for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And that can go into anything, basically. I mean, like we've always said that you should always just stream, and you should, try different things, go outside of your comfort zone with it, because you'll never know what's going to happen on that day. Like, as long as you're just comfortable with doing whatever that is on stream, and as long as obviously it follows terms of service, try it out and see how it goes, because it could be something that's pretty well received from your viewers, like the cleaning stream. I can't talk right now.
And I had a blast with it too. I hate cleaning. Like, I don't want to clean my house. Nobody wants to clean their house, but we had so much fun because we were doing it on stream. We had people talking, and like we would pick up something and be like, "Oh, I forgot about this," and they'd be like, "What is it?" And then we would talk about like this random object we found in our house, and like it just made it more exciting to do something so mundane.
Right. Hell yeah. So next topic we have is Suns will mirror season via NBA 2K20 streams on Twitch, which is pretty cool. I don't really follow basketball too much or anything, but I know within their first stream they were in the range of 4,500 to 5,000 viewers, which is pretty awesome. And they peaked at over 12,000, which is, I mean, like I said, it's not like watching a real game by any means, but you're still, the fact that they're trying things out and trying to put out content for people while not being able to actually play basketball games is pretty cool. And they're featuring different creators each time, which is another awesome thing they're doing, you know, giving the spotlight to people who normally wouldn't really have it. Starting with MPI.
And just like the music thing, man, I think this is great. It's completely different than actually, you know, watching the NBA, and I can't imagine this is, you know, like going to replace the NBA by any means.
Right.
But, you know, it's something new that people are seeing, and people are freaking out right now because there's no sports, by the way. Like, people have lost their minds. So they're finding alternatives, which has, for a lot of people, become, you know, the video game version of said sport on Twitch. And just like with music, that's going to bring new people to the platform. I'm not saying all these people are going to be here and be like, well, I'm watching Twitch forever. But you know, there's going to be a lot of people that come in and go, oh, that's what this is all about. People do this and have fun and talk and hang out. I also like video games. Why wouldn't I watch this? Or, you know, I also like art. Why wouldn't I watch somebody create art? Things like that. It's just like we talk about every time something like this happens, where like when like the NFL was on Twitch, so on and so forth. It just brings people to the platform. And the more people that you have on the platform, I think the better.
Absolutely.
Sure, you might get more people that will also want to start streaming, and you'll have, just like we said with the music, people who are afraid people are going to steal their views or whatever. But the more people you have watching, the more opportunity you have to have people watching you, or the more people that are going to say, hey, man, I found this thing called Twitch during quarantine. Have you ever heard of this? You should check it out. They tell their friend, and you know, people start telling other people more and more about this platform, and suddenly we have a surge of new people that are looking for new content to watch. And I think that's a good thing. I never think it's a bad thing to bring more people here.
Right.
I think another interesting point of this is that bringing that new audience in, it brings legitimacy. You know, a big issue that we constantly struggle with streaming, with gaming still, for a lot of people, is they don't legitimately see it as something that's worth anybody's time, never mind their own time, you know. And more things like this that happen, seeing, you know, the competition, the basketball competition and stuff, people who would before have never given a moment's idea to this are now looking at it and thinking, hey, that's pretty cool, you know. And that knock-on effect will be more than just accepting, you know, NBA 2K or whatever it is that they're playing. Do you know what I mean? It'll be more than just accepting that. It has a wider reach, so that when someone does say that they play a game, they play games or whatever, they are going to approach it with more of a, oh, that's cool attitude, you know. So this can also have a knock-on effect for generally legitimizing streaming and gaming to more people, because there are certainly a lot of people out there, we've all met them, who would, you know, argue to their blue in the face that it's a waste of all our times, you know. And these kind of things are how it's changed, because sitting arguing with these people, it's never going to change their mind, you know. Seeing it like this, seeing these situations and how it can be used to bring people together and used to replace things, you know, that are sort of cornerstones of everyday life, you know. I definitely think that is also beyond just Twitch numbers or the amount of people that are in the wider society. I think that this is a good thing. It's a positive thing as well for streaming.
Absolutely. Sadomi?
This is the best time for esports to really like dig in, because I'll use Rocket League as an example. It is so easy to convert someone from traditional sport like basketball or football or hockey to Rocket League, because it just kind of makes more sense. Granted, I'm not trying to like shoot League of Legends in the foot or anything, but if you show League of Legends to an average person, you're not going to be able to explain it as well as like hit ball with car into goal.
Right.
Like, so I think that if in esports organizations, they need to although they can't have their LANs, I guess one issue that Roku's having right now, their LAN is coming up. They can't have the LAN, so they're going to do it online. I think that's what they're doing, or they're going to postpone it. Either way, this is the biggest benefit of esports because it can go on even if like there's no locale. Doesn't matter the weather. Doesn't matter if there's a global pandemic outside. You can still compete and still participate and still market to people. So this is the best time for esports to really dig in and have their season start. I'm not sure which esports seasons are kind of starting super heavy right now. I think is Overwatch League, are they just starting up? Are they like mid-season? Are they done?
I could not tell you.
I don't know.
Tell you.
Okay, yeah. But either way, if you're in esports league, you want to probably have as much of your competition happening in the next month. Hopefully by April soon.
Knocking on what you're saying about League of Legends, this will actually affect games like League of Legends more than it will affect other games because League of Legends, Dota, even CSGO, they rely a great deal on their LAN events. You know, that's where you get huge numbers on Twitch on all viewing platforms for them. So this will affect the bigger games exponentially more than smaller games. This is actually a time for smaller games the smaller esports games and titles to make up some ground. But yeah, it is the perfect time for esports just now, and to get everything out there, to get people understanding how. What better time? This is a captive audience, you know. We're literally a captive audience. This is the time to put stuff under their nose and say, "Here, you know, enjoy this." So yeah.
Yeah, Dwaro Scholar says streaming is a truly essential resource for a community in lockdown. Some might think it's an exaggeration, but millions are cut off from society and now and streamers give a free service to chat and hang out, something that videos on YouTube, TV, or Netflix doesn't do. Honestly, countries should make folks aware of services like Twitch and Mixer, get folks out of their bubble. I totally agree. I think that's awesome because we do there still is that aspect that everybody needs where we need to socialize. Not everybody needs to, but you know, the people who are used to going out every day and, you know, interacting with people, they're going to need something because they're going to be very cooped up in their apartment, in their house, wherever they are. And, you know, getting the word out on Twitch, I think is going to be huge. And I've actually started to see Twitch ads on YouTube recently, which I haven't seen before. Yeah, it was like last week. I thought it was weird that, you know, YouTube would even allow that because there is a competition going. But yeah, just really cool stuff like that. I think Twitch needs to really start putting in the money to advertise as many places as they can right now because this is the time to capitalize on it for sure.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of the time too for us as creators on Twitch to tell people about it more. I know a lot of people try to keep their Twitch and their personal life kind of separated for various reasons. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing always. But if you've ever been like, man, I wish my friends would check this out, or you just believe in the platform and live streaming and what it does for people, now is the time to shout it from your Facebook rooftop. Please don't go outside, stay inside. But just shout it, you know, as much as you can to people. Hey, even if you don't want to watch what I make, there's other stuff on here that you might like, and this is a good way to interact with people. Or it's also, I think, a good time if you don't necessarily want people to watch your stream, or if people aren't interested in watching a stream, is a good time to help people set up things like Discord or Skype and things like that, because not everybody has FaceTime if you don't have an Apple device or anything like that. It's the perfect time to be video chatting with your friends. If you have a group of friends that you hang out with, say every Saturday night, you guys get together, have a couple drinks, and play games or whatever it is that you do, make a Discord with those people and just video chat with them one night. Just say Saturday nights we video chat together until we can get together again. And it's not the same, but it helps. You can talk on the phone, but seeing someone's face makes such a difference, I think.
We had a movie night on Friday in Discord, obviously taking advantage of this increased streaming ability through Discord channels. And it was great. Everybody really enjoyed it, you know, and it was just the ability to just sit and chill with people and talk about what was happening on the movie, you know. And it is time to take advantage of these resources because people do need, as Fairly said, people are feeling cooped up. They do need to know of ways that they can make connections with people, because there's a lot of people oblivious to this. There's a lot of people feeling that they are shut in their house, but they do have a PC and an internet connection and could quite easily be communicating with people and a lot easier. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sadomi?
People pushing out for Twitch to get known. That's like a lot of people been doing that. Like I said before earlier, I've had people on Facebook like been hounding other people like, what do I do? What do I do?
Right.
And yeah, a live video call could work. I'm not really too well versed on social interactions right now. Legitimately, I've been like actually in my house for like a whole month at this point about straight. So it's kind of crazy. But that's pretty much it, honestly.
Okay. So let's see. Blue Magus says that's possible, but streaming isn't for everyone. It's different being a viewer than an actual streamer. I agree with that to an extent, but there are some people that are just viewers on Twitch that really just want as much interaction as they can get. I remember, and I talk about this all the time, and to the people that have heard it, it's going to sound like I'm just repeating myself from like a long time ago. That's because I basically am. Working third shift at IHOP, and then in the middle of the day, not getting any social interaction at all. I remember I found Tim the Tatman on Twitch when he was streaming CSGO. I would donate $5-10 every once in a while just to, send him a message or whatever. He'd respond back to it just to have, something, because literally I didn't have a social life at all. And like, I just look forward to, watching streams on Twitch and, seeing somebody play well in a game that I really enjoyed. And then also, occasionally being able to say something to them and have them respond. Just any little bit does help, especially for the people who really, really are lacking in their social lives.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has had anything like that, but I mean, not every viewer likes to talk or likes to get interaction all the time. I totally understand that, but
I mean, I'm like that. I'm not every time I go into someone's chat, I like to be chatty. I'm quite more often than not very quiet in people's chats. But that is the thing. That is the beauty of Twitch. The interaction is up to you. How much interaction you want. You can just sit there and be reading chat, watching the stream, and that's enough. But yeah, that's the beauty of it. That there's so many different options for you. You can choose to become so involved in a stream that eventually down the line you're a mod or looked at as a VIP, whatever. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you could just spend the same amount of time just sitting watching that person, and not actually communicating. So there is a lot of scope for. As Blue Magus was saying, there is a lot of scope though for people to take what they need from Twitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else got anything on this one?
I'm not really a viewer that'll come in and not say hi, but sometimes I don't want to talk either, and I'll say hi, and I'll just have like 3 messages and I'll just ghost. I'm sure I did this to all of you.
I do that
a
lot.
I do that as well.
Sometimes the timing just doesn't work out. Like you'll stop in and then something happens, then you have to go immediately, or maybe you just really aren't feeling that talkative that day, and that's totally fine. Most of the people on Twitch are lurkers.
Yeah, I do that a lot where I'll stop into any of your streams and be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm good. How are you? Cool." And then I don't say anything, but I'm still there.
Exactly.
I'm probably lurking and working on something else, or I dropped in with a lurk and then I was like, oh man, I gotta do the dishes. Let me go do the dishes, and then I walk away. But yeah, I do the same thing all the time.
Right, and I like what you were saying earlier about making sure to like post about your stuff on Facebook. I'm definitely going to be doing that, and then encourage people to show up, and then even if they don't really like my content, I can have them, because for most people that I'm friends with on Facebook, they probably don't really watch Twitch too much, so they don't even know like what's actually out there. So you could even say like, I can help you find something that you would really enjoy, because there is just such a wide variety on Twitch that you can like. There's so much more than just my style of streaming, or even just like my channel alone. There's something for everybody for sure.
Yeah, right.
And it's just about taking the steps to open up to check things out, and you know what I mean, like have an open mind about it. Because if you go in it judging already, thinking that this is a stupid website for nerds that don't talk to anybody, well, kind of to an extent, we're all in that boat right now. So this is the time to get those people to open up more, like Dog was saying, and it can really change the perspective of live streaming content and Twitch streaming, anything like that.
Right.
So next topic we have is DrDisrespect signs an exclusive Twitch deal. And so I got the Twitter post right here. It's a cool little video. I'm glad to see Dr. Disrespect staying on Twitch. It's, you know, seeing all these content creators get deals on YouTube Gaming or Mixer or whatever it is, like, it's cool, you know, that they're getting those deals, but it does suck having like really good content creators like leave Twitch. And so it's awesome to see someone like Dr. Disrespect, who's been, you know, at one time he was the face of Twitch before Ninja had his blow up. You know what I mean? Dr. Disrespect was like the guy, the one that was like, I remember being at TwitchCon in 2017, and it seemed like any opportunity that they had, they would promote him. Like during the keynote event, the first event that happens at TwitchCon, they had him stand up in this crowd and they put a spotlight right on him and we're talking about him. I'm like, is this like his show right now? You know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it definitely seemed like they were promoting him. And so for him to stay on Twitch, you know, where he's known and where he's made his viewer base, it's just really cool. So I don't know if you guys have anything. I know not all of you necessarily like Dr. Disrespect, but
Well,
I mean, I always knew he was going to stay on Twitch. Like, I never thought he was going to move off
Right.
platform just because he's not.
who was taking him?
Yeah, like, no offense to Dr. D. I respect everything he's done, and I think, but he is too. I'm gonna put this. He wouldn't fit Mixer's brand
Right.
properly. YouTube wouldn't care because they don't. They have too many creators. They have enough creators where they're just a platform. They don't really have like they have PewDiePie there. Like,
Ugh.
right.
so if he had to go anywhere, and he wouldn't go anywhere where he wouldn't have a large viewership because he kind of thrives off of that. So like, it was literally the only place he was gonna stay logically was Twitch. So I'm not surprised. I mean, good for him. He secured the bag. He's good at doing that. So there you go.
Yeah, and kind of like where you're kind of going with that is we've seen like Ninja move to Mixer and he lost a lot of viewership, but he has a lot of ventures outside of streaming. You know, like he has t-shirt lines that are in Target. There's like
Adidas
little
trainers.
Yeah, Adidas. There's toys of him. Like he is a much more brand-friendly character than Dr. Disrespect would be. And I think Dr. Disrespect knows that and has pretty much accepted that. And that's fine. If that's who you are, that's who you are. You know, that's what your brand is going to be. That's fine. But if he moved from Twitch to Mixer and dropped, you know, half of his viewership and lost half of his money, where's he making that money up? You know, he might have like stocks and, you know, investments and things like that, but, you know, where are you making up that huge loss in direct revenue where Ninja has so many partnerships that Dr. Disrespect probably wouldn't be able to get because, you know, like we said, he just isn't a brand-friendly brand.
No. Yeah, I will step in with one thing. When it comes to losing viewership, if you're ever taking a deal, viewership is very, especially for a deal that would be like a Mixer, like a multi-year like streaming deal. Generally, once you, so the thing that I always thought about was why would they do that? And the biggest thing I realized was influence over a platform, because that's what Ninja wants, that's what Shroud wants, and also if you're guaranteed income from like a streaming platform, you then have a salary from them, you're fine. You don't have to worry about your... Essentially, what happens is you become part of the platform. Think of it as becoming an employee of Twitch, but you're an official broadcaster of Twitch. Yeah. So you're more interested in the health of the platform than I think your individual stream, because if the platform goes under while you're under contract, you can't really do anything about that. So you kind of have to care about the platform as well. So if Dr. D would switch, he would have to care about a platform, but that's not what his mantra is about. And honestly, the way his character portrays, that would be completely off-brand from anyway. It would be awkward for him to be on Mixer. Like because then his statements of streaming to billions of people, when obviously it's not billions, but it just wouldn't really. It's like putting the square hole in the round peg. You know, it just wouldn't. I don't know. It just wouldn't like mesh. It wouldn't feel right.
Right.
And he's talked a lot about the future of the Dr. Disrespect brand. And he was like, I remember him saying things like, wouldn't it be cool if there was somebody else, you know, playing the role of DrDisrespect, which is really interesting to think about. And when you take that into perspective, why would you go to a different platform where you're definitely going to get, half your viewers or even less, and start to have your brand die off, as far as popularity goes? Like if you're looking that far ahead, the immediate money you get from signing a deal to Mixer or something like that doesn't really make any sense. Right. When you're trying to see if you can basically 007 your DrDisrespect brand and have different actors playing your role in the future. Like, it's a really cool idea for sure, and it makes sense to not go to Mixer when that's your mindset.
Well, one of the things that he has hinted at on several occasions is the idea of a television show. There was talking Netflix and him having something. I don't know if that's still a go or what came of that.
Yeah, I remember we talked about those with the people who made The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Netflix, if Netflix are going to do something with him, they are looking at viewing numbers. They are looking at viewing numbers coming across, because that's a new territory for Netflix. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they do need to see what kind of reach you have. Switching to Mixer, that is not going to be. It's not going to get Netflix thinking, oh yes, those numbers. So I definitely think that's a huge part of what's in his mind, is that I think he sees things away from streaming as being his ultimate goal. And in order to break into those markets, you need to be regarded as one of the very, very top in your industry. And regardless of what anybody might personally feel at the moment, Ninja and Shroud have taken themselves out of that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Regardless of who they are and what they've achieved, they've taken themselves out of being the most amongst the most influential streamers, because they don't have the same streamer reach. Yes, they've got their other revenue streams. Yes, they've got that huge deal to sign on, monetary wise and everything. But let's be honest, when I personally know for a fact, I have seen less clips of Shroud on my timeline since he moved to Mixer than I did when he was on Twitch.
Oh yeah,
I used to see so many clips, and not just and repeated, because so many people posting it and seeing it and taking it, and now I hardly ever see stuff. I hardly ever see it. So it has taken some of his influence away. A great deal of it. It's actually anecdotally visible, So to me, I good on DrDisrespect. I never imagined he was going anywhere. I never imagined there are certain Twitch streamers that I from the start knew wouldn't move. Tim the Tapman was always at the top of the list. Pokimane was another one, and DrDisrespect all for different reasons. Tim and Pokimane very similar reasons as they, but for DrDisrespect for different reasons. So good on him. He secured secured the bag, as MPI said. But I'm not surprised. This was always going to be the case.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen a lot. I totally agree. I've seen a lot less come up randomly for Shroud's content. The only content that I've really seen of his is stuff that I've gone out to find myself, because I do enjoy watching him. But most of it's YouTube, stuff like that. I don't really go to his, his Mixer streams too much. And one thing to think about is, a lot of people quit streaming because it's a popularity contest, which it 100% is. It's all depending on, how you take that in and what you plan on doing with that mentality. You know what I mean? You can either think of it as a very negative thing or a very positive thing. It's all, it's all based on your own perception. But because streaming is a popularity contest, like you were just saying, they're going to a platform that's less popular. You know what I mean? There's just because everybody knows the name Shroud or Ninja doesn't mean everybody's watching Shroud or Ninja, because clearly they're not. Because if they were, they would have the same amount of content coming across your feed as they did before. So if they do want to come back to Twitch, I can see them, having, obviously a decent comeback, but I don't think it'll be quite to the point where they were when they left immediately. It would take a while to, to regrow and everything. But when you think about it as a popularity contest, why would you go to a place that has less people? You know what I mean? Yeah, you're still popular over there, but I looked at if I go to Mixer right now and I go to see how many people or how many viewers are watching Call of Duty Modern Warfare, in total, it's, and this is for Call of Duty Modern Warfare as a whole, it's 6,333 people watching the entire game.
So on
Whereas-
Twitch right now, it's 187,000 right now.
Exactly.
So interesting thing. I
Mhm.
pulled it up as you were saying it. I
Mhm.
see 8,000 people.
That's
Wait,
interesting.
on Mixer?
So-
have you got a filter
Unless-
on at all? Have you got any filters on, Bailey? Perhaps.
I mean, this is just from the home screen. This is just a category that says top categories. That's all. I didn't like go search for Call of Duty or anything like that. But like, regardless, the difference between 6 and 8,000.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As opposed to what was it on?
190, basically
Yeah.
188,000. Yeah.
So when you're doing something that is a popularity contest, and you go to something like that, where like an entire game has, what is that, like less than 10% of the viewers, like by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. And a game like Call of Duty should have the bigger numbers. And so if like your top games, you know, like I think Fortnite was roughly the same as well. It's like, you know, 10,000 or less. And when your top games are at that peak, there's not much room to grow there. You know what I mean? You're basically setting yourself back by going to a different platform. Like, yeah, you might have the opportunity to grow faster, but there's such a lower ceiling that it doesn't make any sense to switch unless you're getting that huge brand deal like they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like if you even pull up the actual page, like if you click on Call of Duty Modern Warfare and look at the top
Mhm.
2 streamers, one of them is Ninja with less than
Yep.
2,000 people. He's at 1980. And the other one is someone I've never heard of with 1,029. So that comes to just over 3,000. And if there are 6 to 8,000 people watching, you have almost half of the viewership in 2 channels.
Right.
Yeah. Tim's sitting on 29,000 just now.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, you might get more money from the deal, and like it, you know, offers you like job security because you don't really have to stream quite as much to, you know, still be making money because you've been paid, you know, just to exclusively stream on this platform in general. But by far, like that's like Ninja having roughly 2,000 viewers is so much less than what he had before.
Oh my days,
Like
yeah.
so much less.
Yeah.
There was like, even when he wasn't at his peak, like when he was on his decline, he was still getting to like 20 to 30,000 viewers, like really consistently.
Yeah.
And it's just, I see that hurting people in the long run. You know what I mean? Obviously, Ninja still has this brand that people, you know, that everybody knows who Ninja is, even if they don't watch Ninja or anything. But it'll be interesting to see how it affects him as a streamer and his brand in the future when he continues to stream with 2,000 to 4,000 viewers.
Honestly,
Now,
I wouldn't be
question.
surprised to see out of the two of them, Shroud and Ninja. I wouldn't be surprised to see Shroud come back once his deal with Mixer's done. But honestly, at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ninja hang up the streaming boots, you know, and move and try to move into the other stuff, you know, because in a lot of ways, you know, yeah, he's going to come back, he's going to get numbers and stuff. But when Ninja left, he was the top of the tree. You know, he was the top streamer on Twitch, what made him the biggest, the top streamer in the world. He'd be coming back, yes, as a partner and a big name, but you know, Tim and Sacriel and Lupo and all these guys are solidifying their audience just now, solidifying their communities. And for Ninja, in a lot of ways, it would be not starting again because you know it's not going way back to the beginning, but you know it's a grind again. You know, and I don't know if Ninja would want to do that just from you know, what I see of his personality. You know,
especially on Twitch, which you know he definitely has some harsh feelings about.
I think you
And
would
rightfully
also kind of have to like turn around the attitude that he's gotten. You know, because I remember seeing him when he was on Twitch, and it always seemed like everything was so like fun and positive and upbeat. And now the only thing I ever see about Ninja is something negative. You know, it's not as bad as some of these streamers out there, but it's, you know, there was when he said streamers should be held to a higher standard and allowed to cheat in games. Whenever he was talking about, oh, it's just a game, and like threw a hissy fit, and like, or whenever he talked about kicking a field goal in football, like it feels like, I don't know if that's just him changing as a person and growing differently, if it's he's upset with where he's at now with viewership and that's kind of like coming out negatively, or what it is exactly, but I don't feel like he has the same
passion
and not this and the same personality in general.
Yeah.
Because you can see him
I would
change,
agree.
and a lot of people watched it because it was so like energized and yelling and upbeat, and he was dancing and going crazy all the time, and it was energetic, and people liked that. And now it's, a lot of the streams are him at the desk yelling about something that he's upset about for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of is also going to hurt him on Mixer. And if he came back to Twitch, a lot of people will just kind of be like, okay, well, whatever, dude. You're clearly here for whoever gives you the biggest contract.
Right. Like, I don't want to disrespect him at all. I'm not trying to say anything about Ninja, because obviously, like, everybody should have respect for him and what he's done for streaming, and like as a whole. But like from an outside perspective, for somebody who just sees everything that you just described, it seems like it was good while it was good. You know what I mean? Like, things were good while things were good, and things might not be as great, so things are getting less great. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't keep the same mentality, the same branding throughout, then what does that say?
Exactly.
It's just
Which leads me to, that's why it leads me to believe what I said, that if it came back to grinding again to get back to that point, I don't know if he would want to, which is a shame. It's a shame because Ninja, like you said, he's done a lot for streaming. Whether people like him or not, he's put streaming and Twitch on the lips of people who never spoke it before.
Absolutely.
And so he's very responsible for moving streaming on and raising awareness of streaming in a lot of ways. So that would be sad. It would be sad.
Yeah, Sadomi.
I also let's change perspective for a sec, because because I think we're talking about goalposts that have moved in terms of Ninja, because his goals when he was on Twitch a year ago aren't the same goals that he has now, or even the same like career aspirations or anything like that. So when we think about his viewership, do we really know that that's with it, like part of his goal plan? Like that's part of in his goalposts, or even if streaming is really in his goalposts? Because he could legitimately be thinking about early retirement at this point.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
If you're thinking about doing that, of course you would take a contract to, keep you set, with the worry. Because if he's smart, which I know he is, you don't do all that and not be smart in some regard, or at least his team is.
I was say, he's not the only one doing it. He has people who are helping him make these decisions.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean, like that's like fine. He literally has Team Ninja. That's
and you should.
His brand team is.
If you are that big, you should have people helping you.
Yeah. But think about it. If you're smart, Twitch, you've been on Twitch as long as he has. He's seen people go up and down. So I think he knew, and his team knew, that, listen, we're on this wave now. We're not going to be up here forever. In fact, make him a time where we're going to go down, go down, go down. So let's just go up here, spread our seed, and then when we go down, we'll rise up as the trees come up. So that's what I think is really his goalpost right now. So he doesn't really care about his like stream reviews or anything. He's kind of just doing it to kind of just to stay live, relevant, and get his like paycheck from Mixer, which isn't a bad thing. Honestly, that's just like that's career goals, right? That's career goals,
right?
So I think we need to also remember that his goalposts are changing, and also streaming is a young man's game. I don't mean that to say that people who are older can't stream, but it takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of time, and as you get older, you get more responsibilities. As life hits you, a lot of people don't have the stamina to do that as much anymore. Like as you can see, a lot of broadcasters who started when they were younger started to slow down, or not as bouncing around as much, not as hyper, and that's just the human body. That's just how humans are. Streaming's been around for, we'll say, 5 years. It's been super popular. I'd say 5 years has been popping off. So, and in that 5 years, with the way how fast tech goes too, it's a long time. It's a long time. So I think that we need to also, whenever we're talking about Ninja and Shroud, think about their goalposts and not just what we think now, because I'm pretty sure they don't care about viewership as much as we care about their viewership right now.
Right. The only reason why I brought up viewership in general is because it is a popularity contest, and you're going to a platform that's less popular. And so if streaming is still your thing, like your primary thing that you're trying to do, after that deal is over, it's tough, because like you basically set yourself back. Financially, you're good, and if you had any financial goals or any other business things that you were trying to do outside of streaming, by all means, you're set and you're doing the right thing. But if streaming was your thing and entertaining like as many people as you can was your thing, it's obviously not as effective as it was before you switched because you had a larger audience.
Now let's go to a long play real quick. So who here knows about WWE and the wrestler Edge?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
so let's use so let's say a band gets back together after 30 years. Not 30 years. We'll say 10 years. A little bit easier. Okay. The earned media from that announcement of coming back will definitely help them go back up when it comes to viewership and getting more, talked about media when it comes. So, like I said, I'm not worried about that part for them. They are fine. They probably have teams who know like where to market at what times to get the best return for their value at when their contracts are up, if they decide to keep pursuing it or they decide to switch platforms after that. Because, and like I said, they care more about the influence on the platform more than anything. Because I'm sure any streamer who's in the top 1%, you told them they could own 10% of Twitch, or at least like own 10% of Twitch, they would take that in a heartbeat. Just so they can get like control or get like more direct influence. Because as broadcasters, we all have our own personal like qualms and gripes about the program, about the site, about streaming in general. And if we had influence over a site, over a program, we would love to have that. Imagine telling the creators of OBS to create a feature and then a month later it's there and you told them that. Yeah, that influence is big. I think that's the biggest thing that they want.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Looks like we got a caller trying to come in, so we got Crazy Eyes. This will be interesting. So
it's gonna break everything.
Hold, please.
Yeah. Just tell me when you're ready, man.
All right.
So there we go.
All right.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
All right.
Hey, you're at work.
It almost worked.
What's up? You guys, oh no.
What the hell, Discord?
Oh wow, dude.
Why did it make one person
Big
bigger
dog.
than the others?
Dude,
Yo, this is welcome back to Dog Key.
All right, well, it's just dog now. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
It's all right. He's better than me, anyways. It's fine. Just working from home, just twerking hard or hardly twerking is basically how it's been all week.
Nice.
I trust it's kind of the same for everybody else who has a job, and if you don't have it, actually, hold on, I'm getting a call.
Oh, okay.
Informatics, this is John. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on? No. All right, give that a try. Call me back. All right. Sorry about that. Work's been.
No, you're good, dude.
I have to say that about 80 times a day. I get to do it from my studio here. Hey girl. I had a real question. Hold on in a sec, but I wanted to comment. I think that people have been moving to Mixer because gatherings of fewer than 10 people are still allowed, and I don't think anybody on Mixer is getting those numbers. So you could definitely, as long as you're 6 feet away from your keyboard, is that that's the recommended amount of space. I've been playing lately. I've been playing with what? You wanna,
the fucking
Hold on, I gotta lean like way over. I gotta lean like way over here so I can be in the shot. So I've been playing a little bit with the idea of maybe jumping onto Facebook, doing the Facebook's gaming. Well, I mean, who's going to Mixer? Nobody's going to Mixer that has a face. So you go to Facebook now because that's where it's growing, and Mixer's not a thing anymore. So we just don't talk about it.
Right.
But I wanted to know if any of you had any experience with Restream and having two chats at the same time. If you choose to do the overlay over the top of your face or whatever, where it's people can see the chat, just right down your eyebrows, or if like you just don't even, I don't even know how you would get both chunks of viewers to see the same chat. somebody toyed with the idea of a bot that posts every comment from one channel into the other and vice versa. So it's like just bots going back and forth, posting all the chat into each chat, you know?
So
That would be.
I've never done that before, but I know someone who does. You know, Anatlas 89 from
Mhm.
True. She does
Yeah.
that with Mixer and Twitch, and her chats somehow go across each other. But I have no idea how she does it. I know
They do. Okay.
I know there's a way that she does it. She uses some kind of programs to do it, so it might be something that we have to reach out to her on and somehow make a follow-up to. But
Okay.
I have no idea.
Right.
I do know you'll have to break your affiliate contract because you're not allowed to,
Yeah,
to put your
that's true.
content
Oh,
in
you're
two
not allowed to
places for
dual-
24 hours.
Dual show. Oh,
Oh,
come on. It
that's
took
right.
me 30
Yeah.
days to get that affiliate contract. That's
Yeah,
a lot of effort.
that's the
You know,
only
these bot
fun
accounts
about
I
it.
had to use.
Ladies
But
and
yeah.
gentlemen, crazy eyes.
No, well, I'm still on the show.
Oh, my bad. All right.
Hold on.
Sorry.
You should switch back to the other view, so when I leave, it just goes back to normal. Vince? Vince? I don't know. Vince isn't. He's not in my house. I don't know. He's not answering.
He's,
So.
yeah, he's not answering right now.
Dog, you're very small on my screen, but you're super huge on TRUgaming, and
That's-
Yeah,
we all
that's
know
what I
it's
said. I
true.
was like, Discord, why did it make Dog so much larger than the other screens? Like, who decided that's
Yep.
what happens in
Because I'm the
this?
star. Okay.
My
'Cause he has
screen,
the
my
big
screen
finger.
gave
That's why.
Dog key.
priority to Mr. MPI Instinct.
Okay,
He
right,
got
shush.
priority.
I'm the star.
Enough about other people. It's me now. Okay.
You guys are done.
I feel like the episode of SpongeBob where he's on the commercial. It's like, look, you can see me right up there, and that's me up in the corner. Like,
He's right up here. Chat.
Yeah, he's over that way.
Somewhere.
Yeah,
I
you'll find
can't.
him.
I can't even show my arm because you can't even see what's going on this side of the.
Wait.
I could do anything
wait.
over here. I could be shirtless over on this half,
Wait, I
and
have an
nobody will
idea.
even see it.
I have an idea. Everything's broken anyway. There you go. Do what you want to do.
Oh,
I pulled you over.
Oh.
Now we can
Oh.
see you. And now
That's
Let's
we're
be
a
honest.
you
yikes.
back.
FBI
That's
just
a-
did this to show his own face.
yeah,
He's
that's a
like, I'm not getting
yikes
no
hard
screen
lemonade
time.
from me,
This is
Mr.
me.
MPI Instinct. We don't
We haven't
want
seen
that.
Sadomi yet.
hard
We need some
So wait, is
Sadomi.
it not Vince doing the switching anymore?
No.
Not right
it's,
now
uh,
because the true.
Does it look like
Oh, this
you-
guy? This guy got me,
This
bro.
guy, man.
Damn it! Damn it, dude! That was man. I was answering his question for him. I was like, "No, they're out of the office today, bro. Like quarantine." And then he called me so off guard. Okay, all right.
Got the clap.
Damn it, dude. All right, ladies and gentlemen, crazy eyes. That's crazy eyes for you guys. Okay, so next topic. Twitch wants to show stats to advertisers. So Twitch is expected to top 40 million US viewers next year and should reach 47 million by 2023. So obviously they're trying to get in, to they're trying to make sure that they can show as many numbers as they can to advertisers because they're trying to obviously, I think it was last year, Amazon was kind of upset that the ad revenue from Twitch didn't get as much as they had expected. Who would have thought people would have ad block on? It's crazy. So they're trying to get more money out of it, obviously, and so they've been working to show better stats to advertisers. I don't really think this is going to be much to talk about because it doesn't really affect us too much. Hopefully, it won't lead to a crazy amount of more ads because they've always been kind of too much to begin with. Whether having to do them every 30 minutes or something, there's different options, but it's still too much. Or you could just have one running at the very beginning, which is what everybody seems to be doing. If any of you guys have anything to say about this, yeah.
Well, actually, you touched on the one thing I was worried about is more ads.
Yeah.
I hope what they use this information for is to shape the way ads are done rather than to just use it as an excuse to put more ads in, more targeted ads, because ultimately, ads are going to be a part of the platform. It's just if they could get us, ones that we're more interested in rather than just bombarding us with the same stuff that we're not interested in over and over. I think people are more ready to accept that, and would be less likely to use ad blockers if the ads were a bit more shaped towards their personal taste. But that's the only thing I'm worried. I hope they use it as more of a shaping thing than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still supposed to be the picture-in-picture that hasn't happened yet. You guys remember that?
I've seen that before in some streams, but not everyone's. But
What?
I have seen it in streams.
Was it partner streams or?
You know what? One of them was.
Right.
Okay.
It was. Now that I think about it, so it might be a partner thing right now.
Yeah, maybe slow.
But I have seen it before.
Yeah. So in case people don't know how ads kind of work on Twitch, essentially they're just a big pool of them. So avatars will buy in and like pay for like X amount of spots, I guess, and they add them to a pool. And then as streams happen, they take some from the pool and put them out. So I'm thinking Twitch wants to increase their ad pool. Either A, charge higher for, or get more volume, more variety with them. And they also probably want to get stats like on their viewers, like age, demographic, gender, location, and kind of figure out who watches what so they can kind of target better. Because right now, I think I'm not sure if Twitch has a lot of information like that. Because if you look at YouTube, like YouTube's a good example. They have a lot of information on you from your Google account. So they know your geographic location, they know your gender, age, what places of businesses you visit, if you have Google location on. If you have an Android phone, they literally know what to sell you at the right time. Your search history. So they have all the information to pull from. And while Twitch, I don't think it has nearly as much, just your history on Twitch and what I don't even think what times you're active either. But yeah, so I'm hoping that means the ad cycle will mean they'll get better targeted ads, which means they can charge higher, which means it'll come to higher CPMs for broadcasters, which means more money for broadcasters. But at the same time, if you think about it, traditional advertisements like on TV do not work with live stream content.
Right.
It is not, because imagine if you miss something because an ad played versus on TV, they create programs around advertisements. Why do you think those TV shows all have those random cuts to black in the middle?
Yeah.
Like,
or like on YouTube, if you have multiple ads in the middle, it cuts, but it just picks up where the video left off.
You're right.
Yeah. You can't do that with live content, especially with Twitch's like system, because there was no pause rewind feature. So I think what advertisers really want to do is get to broadcasters directly, or Twitch wants to implement a system where broadcasters can control their own advertisements.
Yeah.
Because not only that, you get a higher, if an ad for Twitch plays, that is a much lower conversion rate than if I tell you guys to order this company's that didn't pay me's coffee every morning before before your stream. That would do much better than just seeing an ad for this coffee. So,
Wait, are you getting paid for that?
He did it twice. He's getting paid.
His hand was
coffee
covering. His hand was covering the logo. He ain't getting.
Oh,
paid.
we seen.
We saw it. All right, we saw it.
Oh wait, even you should go check out this TRUgaming mug, which
There
you
you
can get
go.
from
There
the
you go.
TRUgaming store.
That's an ad.
There you go.
Boom.
Hashtag ad.
And trust me, coffee tastes 10 times better outside of it, especially hot water.
What?
Also, if you're a streamer, drink hot water before your stream. It'll help you open your voice, and you can sound majestic.
So Sadomi doesn't drink hot water before he hops on camera. Got it. Okay. But Steph, to answer your question, picture in picture is basically so when an ad runs on a stream, it still shows your channel. It just goes to right above where the chat is, so you can still watch the stream kind of while seeing an ad. It was something that was supposed to be done, I think, last year. I think
they announced it
a
last
long time
TwitchCon,
ago.
didn't they?
Yeah, I think it was
Last
TwitchCon.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago, and we haven't really well, I guess some people have seen picture in picture now, but I've literally never seen it. So it's interesting, and it's weird that they're being so quiet about it.
Here, just off the top of my head, I wonder if it's linked to actually having your doing the ads every 30 minutes or whatever. I wonder if because I didn't bother with that, to stop pre-rolls. I just didn't see the point, but I wonder if it is linked to that, to the actual each account switching that on. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. And honestly, like something that I'm thinking of is like what Sadomi was just saying, like just doing a product advertisement on your own stream. Because like you can, there's those websites that you can go to that streamers can go to where the people that work for whatever company are like a mediator between brands and streamers, and so you basically can get financial compensation for just advertising something on your stream. And that could actually be a better avenue for Twitch to go down than just running a video on your stream. Like having a streamer just like take like 20 seconds or whatever to talk about something, show it off on the stream. You still get like it's not like a generic ad, like, because it's obviously the streamer saying whatever they want to say about a specific product or company, whatever it is. That could be a really cool avenue for Twitch to go down and start looking into themselves.
Yeah, that could work, and that's actually kind of like how adverts started out way back. Was that somebody would just have on the show would just have the brand of whatever it was and do it. So that it's worked in the past for television. So there's no idea that it, I mean, obviously it would require liaisons between Twitch, the companies, and the streamers, in order to put the streamers in contact with the right people to get these products out. But I mean, it would require some setting up, but down the line, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, and even really, Twitch could kind of take that middle ground away from those sites almost in some aspects. They could say, hey, you could have a Twitch sponsored ad where we just do the work for you, and you put in like, I'm interested in these things. Or like, I like these products. We put in the thing for you. You get sent a product, and then you talk about it and get paid, X percentage, and we get paid X percentage. The problem is, I don't think that they're going to want to give a big enough percentage to people, because if you're not giving me a big percentage, I'm not going to go, I love this keyboard in the middle of my stream,
Yeah.
At that point, thinking about it, the bounty board system would actually allow this to happen.
Yeah.
But you could literally just use the framework already from the bounty board. But you're right, money's what.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the other thing too is how many people would just make like a video and be like, this stream's brought to you by X product. Today I'm using it. I really like it. You should check it out because of blah blah blah. And then after that ad ends, it cuts to their be right back screen. Instead of sitting there and saying, like, hey, here's all this information. Great, I have to go to the bathroom now. They're just going to make a 30-second clip, input it in OBS, and let it play.
Right.
So then you're kind of in the same thing. But, I mean, I think if that can somehow get the creator an actual compensation from an advertisement, good. If you're going to continue to give me 0.0001 cent off of it, no. Then stop.
Right. If it takes the content creator to like time to actually make a video for it or whatever it is, there definitely needs to be more of a compensation. Totally agree. Yeah. And honestly, I think it'd be cool just to keep the viewer interaction, because as soon as I see an ad on a stream, I'm usually going to go like take a walk, like out to the kitchen, get a glass of water or something.
Do literally anything else.
Literally
that's
anything
when
else.
I get up
watch
and do
something.
anything different.
Even press X on the browser.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So. But if it's that individual streamer talking about it or whatever it is, like as long as it's not like a 2-minute ad or whatever, I'm much more likely to stay there and listen to it, because they could throw in their own flair on it, maybe make it funny, do whatever they can to make it more entertaining. And honestly, it would just be more entertaining even if they just read it off themselves, like read from a script that they gave them. It'd still be better than watching a commercial. You know what I mean? Because you're there for that streamer, so whatever they do, if it's only like a 20 or 30-second thing, even if it's not the greatest to watch, it's better than a pre-roll or a timed ad, anything like that.
Exactly, and that's the point. You're going to you're going to the streamer. For the viewer, that's a trusted source. An ad roll is just an ad. The source is the company that puts it up. When you go to the streamer that you watch, you listen to them, you pay attention to them because they're a trusted source. So, and in the long run, it's actually, it's better advertisement for the companies than just a spam pre-roll.
Yeah, Yeah, I think it would do much better. Obviously, it'd be a little bit more difficult to get like a product out to every streamer who's trying to do those ads or whatever. But there's, it doesn't have to be like a McDonald's cup like Sadomi was doing, or it doesn't.
Whoa,
have to be
whoa!
It doesn't have to be a totally generic coffee cup.
Thank you. No, you mean the TRUgaming mug.
My
Which you can get at TRUgaming.com, by the way.
Another
He's
thing
getting
that
paid $5,000.
Another thing I kind of thought about with this, though, is it doesn't have to be a physical product. It can be digital
Right.
products as well. How many times have you watched a YouTube video and halfway through it and they go, Squarespace, you could build a website?
Right.
Like every YouTube video I watch does that. Or like the beginning of
Raid
a lot
Shadow
of videos.
Legends.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
VPNs,
Raid.
NordVPN.
Give me 1 second, dudes.
All that kind of stuff. So like you could easily have digital services where they give you the same way they do with YouTube videos. Hey, we sponsored this video. We're going to sponsor your stream. Here's $100 for you to mention it, 2 or 3 times in your stream. And then here's a product code that you get X% of sales from. The big thing is we have a lot of those like affiliate programs where they're like, yeah, you get 5% back when people buy this product. Great, but nobody's buying it because you may not have a huge reach already, so you don't make any money there at all. All you're doing is advertising for free. So a smaller upfront lump sum of some kind would be, I think, more beneficial and would make people more interested in saying, yeah, I will make some advertisements in my stream. But if that's the scenario we're going to move to, and this is something that I really, really wish YouTube would move to, there is no pre-roll ad. It's just that ad that you are doing. Because I can't tell you how many times I watch a YouTube video and it's like, I'm stuck in this advertisement that I could not care less about. And then it's like, hey guys, today we're going to be talking about 35 ways to make money off of the internet. But today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. And then they talk for a minute and a half about NordVPN. I'm like, I don't care. So then the first 4 minutes of this YouTube video have become an advertisement and I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
So I think if somehow that was implemented from Twitch, or if they brought in like a third party to be like the middle ground there of, this stream is a sponsored stream, Twitch, and let's say it's a $200 sponsored stream, and Twitch is gonna make it's a 50-50 split, like you do with your bits and your subs. It's a 50-50 split. Twitch makes $100, you make $100. But there's no pre-roll ads, and you just have to mention Squarespace 3 times throughout the stream. And that can even just include like making a bot thing, making a time message in your bot pops up. This is sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, don't forget we're sponsored by Squarespace today. Go to blah blah blah. Great, we're done. And then you go back to playing your game. Works for everybody. But we can't do anything that works for everybody, right?
I will say the fact that we did like name all those brands in the last 10 minutes means that the advertisements are working, and there really isn't a reason for them to change it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but how many of us have?
I don't know if you had the advert.
But
I mean,
here's
even
my thing:
if an advert's annoying, it's likely to get into your mind. There was an advert here for Go Compare Insurance, and it had this really annoying opera singer on it, and everybody remembers it. Do you know what I mean?
But how many of that turns into sales?
So
I've never watched a YouTube video and went, man, I'm buying that.
So here's a cool thing about that. As long as it's in your brain, whenever you're trying to make a purchasing decision, if you've seen it before, you're more likely to try that product when you're looking for that decision. Good example. There's a phone provider that used to advertise on Philip DeFranco's show, which a lot of people watched every day, including myself. I was in the new market for the phone at the time. That was about 6 months prior. After 6 months, I was like, I need a new phone. I was looking for providers. I was looking through, the big names, and I saw this smaller one, and I'm like, oh, you know what? We'll give it a try. And I did. And why did I do that? Because it just popped in my mind. It was with them. As long as people know about it, people will look into it as an option, even if it's a horrible option, even if it's just for the memes, they will look into it. And sometimes if you have a good enough presentation during the purchasing part, that's what matters. That's what matters. Because you can look. Also, if anyone was curious what it is, I will let you know. I think I have comments about it, but that's for another time.
I'm very curious because I feel like I know.
You do, but again, I don't like mentioning things without the bag. So
I get what you're saying, though.
Keep it in your mind.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, though, but I think it would still get a lot more traction if the content creator was the one actually talking about the product or the service, whatever it was. Just because if you can put your own personal spin on it, make it seem like you're genuinely just talking about something, like that's by far going to do a lot better than a commercial that interrupts your stream for 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, and too, like we said, the biggest problem with a stream or an ad interrupting is that people miss out on it and then are just going to move on. And how many times have ads been broken somehow? Like with raids, there weren't supposed to be ads. Or like lately, I've been having a problem, and so have others, where Twitch, the quality will drop to basically nothing, and it's like just a blurred mess and you can't see it, so you have to refresh. Then when you refresh, you get served another ad, even though you never went to another channel. So it's like, all I do is get hit with ads over and over again when I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think advertisement obviously needs a lot of work on Twitch. There's plenty of people, including ourselves, that are not happy with how it currently is, because pre-rolls are terrible, but having to do an ad every 30 minutes or whatever it is also even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it definitely needs to be worked on. I don't think picture-in-picture is going to be the best solution, just because it's going to be such a small screen.
And
it mutes. So you're still missing out on content. You can kind of see it and obviously just watch totally muted content for 30 seconds. But I think it still needs a lot of work. So it'll be interesting to see where things go. Hopefully they don't totally ruin it. But so the next topic we have is New York University professor says streaming a class on Twitch is a terrible idea, then does it anyway. So because of the coronavirus going around, this professor decided to do classes online on Twitch, and ended up being really interesting. The class only has 18 students, but 584 people showed up, and 78 of them were chatting. So obviously a bunch of people stopped in not knowing what was going on. There was a comment in there, some really constructive comments, like 69 is the weed drug number. One person decided to say, which obviously is wrong. 420 is the weed drug number, and 69 is the sex number, is what the website says. So in case you guys didn't know that,
right?
But
that's why people say nice.
No,
Nice,
exactly. But just super funny thing that they like. It's crazy that 18 people like attend the class, but 584 people showed up to this. Obviously, the very first stream that this guy's ever done. And it's just so weird to me that many people showed up on the very first stream of something that's not done on Twitch anywhere. Like there's this really weird thing, you have to be there, and we're gonna go there. I'm kind of surprised it didn't get more, but who knows what it'll do in the future if they continue to do something like this. But I just thought it was really cool that people are at least trying other things. What did you guys have on this?
So with Twitch, you can do educational content, but you have to adjust it from traditional manners, because you can't host a Twitch stream for your own personal college class. That's not gonna work. For lecture styles, or styles where if you want to participate, you can answer a question, yes. But if you want to have like forced interactivity, like a lot of classrooms do, you can't do that through Twitch, because unless you take everyone's username and require them to check chat logs after that, see they ask questions in chat, which I think is negative to learning, but that's just, personal take on that. But there's better platforms for that. But
for sure.
Twitch and for class teaching on Twitch, there's actually a really great resources, because you have direct communication. You have, especially for almost anything tech related too, you can have live camera feeds, multiple angles. You can highlight certain things a lot easier. You can kind of move the view around. For some classrooms, you can't. You kind of have the static view or the static lab view. And best part is, usually it's recorded, and you can go back and watch it without almost any extra effort. Good example, if anyone knows Devin Nash, I watch a lot of his streams. His streams are very informational, a lot of educational things. He'll stop and do a talk on a topic that comes up from a question in chat. First, it'll be like, so why is YouTube going to be a bigger platform in the next 5 years versus like Mixer, Twitch, all of them. Like he'll sit down and have that all, type it all out live, get it going, record it, put it on YouTube, and you can watch it whenever you want. And then you come back in his chat later and ask him questions about it, and he'll answer. So there's so many benefits to it, and it's a really good idea. But you have to change it up from a normal classroom setting, which I think a lot of people going forward should kind of break the mindset of learning from in the classroom to just figuring out how to learn in other ways.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised it fails. You just invited every disruptive pupil into your class.
Come in, trolls. We're teaching.
Right.
So yeah, I don't want just do Discord. This is why Discord have given this option, you know, of up to 50 people in a single room streaming to, you know.
Yep.
This is so that you can control your numbers, you know, and not have the disruptiveness. But yeah, like Sadomi said, you know, teaching it's something that can be done in all different things. You can't hold classroom. It's just, you know, it's like going down the park on an afternoon and trying to hold your class there. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're just going to have people walking it and dogs running up and sort of nosying in and stuff like that. Do you know what
Especially
I
on
mean?
the internet too. With the internet,
yeah, that's even worse
behind
on the
it,
internet.
Like, yeah, like people can like I'm sure that there was way worse comments than 69 is the weed drug number. You know what I mean? Which is honestly, if that popped up in my chat, I would just like die because it's just a hilarious comment. But you gotta like, there has to have been worse stuff going on in the middle of the class that would just totally distract from any learning going on.
Right.
But I just thought it was a cool article. I thought it was an interesting thing that happened that obviously doesn't happen too much. And then the 69 is a weed drug number, just had me laughing anyway. Sadomi over here. Oh my god. So our next topic is Mixer gets an update. And I know MPI had some things to say about this, but real quick, we're just going to go over what they changed. There's a homepage redesign. They added auto hosting. They have higher quality emotes. I didn't know that they had low quality emotes in the first place. More control over ad breaks for partners. Partner badges are added on the homepage, and improvement on clip creation and notifications. Now on to Mr. Pure Instinct. What do you have to say about this?
You guys know how we've had 2 or 3 episodes where we just kind of dunk on the front page of Twitch for like 30 minutes. So I think someone at Mixer listened to those episodes and just went, you know, everything they're saying, let's just do the opposite of that. And that's what happened. So the same problem that I always have when we talk about the Twitch front page is I pull it up. So I'm looking at their featured streamers, and they're all Mixer partners, which is, I guess, makes sense. I see 2 of them in the top are streaming Animal Crossing. I scroll down and I see Animal Crossing, and immediately the first 2 are those same 2 people.
Yep.
We're just running into the exact same problems that we run into with the Twitch homepage, that it's not really doing anything for anyone other than these already huge streamers who are now shown in 3 different places the further I scroll down.
Right. But it does look pretty.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they basically just looked at the Twitch front page and said, copy and paste that onto a different background. And now we have that, and it bad.
It bad.
Yeah. I don't know. It's there's no, I don't know. Whenever I look at a platform trying to do something with their UI to make it more enticing to viewers, I think what they're going for is, shiny. Which, not a bad idea, because let's be honest, people who go to streams, people on the internet who know how to use streaming services right now, have the attention spans of ants. Like, let's be honest. How many of us just looked at chat and read chat like a bunch and came back here, looked up, looked at something shiny on our desk, came back around? ADD's. But yeah, so I think that's what they're going for. And while it's not the best, I assume the design must get some traction. And right. Also as a brand, you don't really want to highlight people who aren't fully. For instance, I paid that much for Ninja. I'm going to promote him every chance I get. Every chance I get. If they're a partnered person, they've been on the platform for a while, and like they're heavy part of like our brand, and we decided to partner them, then yeah, I'm promoting them every chance we get. Same reason why I don't expect Twitch to promote affiliates as often. Just because you're not going to promote somebody who you haven't personally invested in or took like some vetting towards, just because it is the internet. If you ban them, that's not that big a deal for them. Like they don't have that security. I mean, you know, it could be, but if you ban a partner, that's generally more what's the word? Devastating for them. So therefore you have a bit more leverage and like, hey, don't, you know, show a corpse on our front page, please, or we'll ban you, which is your income. So, you know, we good there? Don't, I don't know. So essentially they want to protect their brand and you want to have your partner people up front first. So that's probably what they're thinking with this like UI design.
But it's
But
like,
see, the thing is with that, that's fine for people first coming to the site. Absolutely. Push your people coming to the site for the first time, push it to them, push your main products, your main revenue sources in a lot of way. But this is something again, sorry, and I don't want to rehash on this, Duncan, but it's not saving information of people and then targeting them with the stuff that they want to see. You know, that's the issue Twitch certainly has. For Mixer, you know, I think that's maybe less of an issue just because of the numbers. You know, just because of the numbers. So this system works better for them. But as for Twitch, it needs to do more targeted stuff. Once it should be collecting enough information. What some people here have had their Twitch accounts 8, 9, 10, 12 years, however long. By now, they should be beyond. It should know that there's no point in putting DrDisrespect to this person. This person doesn't watch DrDisrespect. You know, this is wasted for us. We could be pushing them to somebody that is a partner that they might not watch, but we know they watch similar content. That, you know, that is how, you know, that's to shape it properly, and that is how you drive it and make your front page actually do the work it's meant to do. Right now, it doesn't. For anybody that's you know, if you come to the server, the page for the first time, seeing all this stuff, yeah, let's look at these big streamers. But by now, it shouldn't be showing me Amaranth. I don't watch Amaranth. I never will watch it like Amaranth. But if I go to the front page and she's streaming, she's likely to be up there. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't work for me. That's not going to get me thinking, hey, I'll watch someone new. Do you know what I mean? And that's where Twitch is. That's where it's failing. That's where these front pages are failing.
So I'm gonna blow your guys' mind for a second. I found something a few weeks ago, and I never brought this up before anybody else, but I posted a link in the Twitch chat. Click that link, and that is and let me know what you see. And that is, I think, the solution to all the problems. But
took me to the
it's not the
page.
default settings. Okay, yeah, but take a look at it. Does it look weird?
Well,
It says that it's recommended for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But why are any of these things recommended for me?
Right.
Oh, I can see why these are recommended to me. I can see why these are recommended to me.
I can see some of them, but not all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But there needs to be more. Like the algorithm has to be a lot more than just what games do you enjoy.
Oh, it works for so this setting, the recommend for you is setting is on everything, even on following. So if you go to your following and go to sort by, it'll.
But it needs to be. It needs like YouTube has it so where like if you are liking a video, there can be a different video that's like that from a totally different channel that's not necessarily related, aside from just having a few different it's not a tag, I don't know what they call it on YouTube, but basically it has something in relation that makes it so that they think that you'll enjoy that as well. That's more than just a number or the game itself. And that's what Twitch is missing. It needs a much more in-depth algorithm to make it so that you can find things that you enjoy easier. Like, because on YouTube, I know Green Quarters talk about this a lot. They do really well with, you know, if you look up a video and you watch that and you watch all the way through, it does really well with giving you other options that are like that to keep you on YouTube watching the same style of content. Doesn't have to be from the same channel at all, but the algorithm works really well where you can just sit on YouTube for hours and just enjoy content. Whereas on Twitch, you have to go out of your way to find something that's totally new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
I mean, you can go down the YouTube rabbit hole. You know, that's how that works. By knowing that, hey, you like this, try this, try this, try this.
Yeah, like I've never found myself down a Twitch rabbit hole.
Right.
Like if somebody stops streaming and they raid someone, I'll check it out, and then if I'm like, I don't really dig this, I immediately click off and watch something else. Where YouTube, I watch, let's say, like a big vlogger, I watch one of their videos. The next video I get is either another one of their videos, or it's a video of someone who creates the same kind of content. Like it's another person who is making the exact same thing. And then I make my way down that rabbit hole watching those. Where Twitch, you could raid someone and they could be playing the same game, but I could come from Veli's stream where he's energetic, he's yelling, he's laughing, he's having fun, and then I get to that next stream who's playing the same game and they're super try-hard in what they're doing, and the whole stream is just them staring at their screen, moving their mouse, shooting, and every now and then going like, oh, come on. Are you kidding me? Did you guys see that? I died there. And then they do it over and over again. I'm like, this isn't fun. I'm bored with this.
And see, this is the other thing. If it was done correctly, it could start suggesting after you've been streaming, X amount of time and it knows what you're like. It could actually use the same algorithm to start suggesting channels to raid that are out with your normal, oh, let's just raid this person, let's raid that person, because it can know that those channels put out a certain type of content. It attracts certain people that are looking at the same kind of content as the people that are watching your channel, and it could actually help for bringing together communities and bringing together streamers, because the algorithm suggested I raided you, and I did, and guess what? We really got on. We like this stuff. Your community is quite similar to mine. These are the ways that if they were gathering enough information and they were using it correctly in an algorithm, these are the ways that it could really push discoverability, not just through the front page, but through actually suggesting to people, hey, this is someone that does stuff that's like you. You probably not heard of them before. Why don't you read them this time? And help it to make connections in different ways from the ways that we do now. Because let's be honest, when you finish your stream, how often are you tired? You're hungry, and you're just, who am I raiding? Them.
Right.
And it's just someone from your follow list or your list or whatever, one of your friends, whoever, and that's great. It's great to support your friends, but really, as we all know, a huge part of all this thing to get going is networking. And Twitch needs to offer ways to make that something that's easier to do, especially considering, as we touched on, the community is filled with a lot of people that are introverted. They're not extroverted. They're less likely to go out their way to find new stuff, and so getting those suggestions, that could change things in a huge way. But it all comes down to Twitch actually seriously starting to gather information about viewing habits, about streaming habits, because through that is how they can make an algorithm that would benefit these things. Until they start collecting information, we're just going to be left, peeing in the wind.
And like it's more than discoverability too, because every streamer would discovered more, every viewer would like to find more streams that they enjoy, but on top of that, the time spent on Twitch would improve so drastically, because you can like Greencore was saying, it's amazing how I can start watching games and then end up watching a TED talk on YouTube. Like if you could do something like that with Twitch, imagine how much more time you would spend on just watching, because you go and say you're in the mood for a certain streamer, they're on, cool, you'll watch the stream. Let's say you end up watching the entire thing or whatever's left of it, and then after that one's over, you're not really feeling any of the other streamers that are on right now, so then you go to YouTube, you know what I mean? Or you go and you watch a different streamer, and today's just not really feeling you're just not feeling like being in there, and you want to have some other content. Well, there's no content really put in front of you that's anything like the stuff that you've already been watching today. You know what I mean? It's all very random. It's like, oh, here's more of this game, here's more of this channel size. After that, you'll have to go and search it up yourself, which is going to be an all-day task in itself. So the time spent on Twitch would improve so much, and that would improve everything that Twitch wants. It would improve, the amount of advertisements that gets watched. It would improve the amount of time that streamers want to be live, because they know that the longer that they're live, the more people could get recommended to their channel in a very productive way, as opposed to just being a random recommended on their homepage. I think it would just improve so much, and it's crazy to me that this is still a thing that we're talking about. You know what I mean? It blows my mind. I don't know if anybody else has anything on this topic. Looks like we're all good. All right, so let's see. Twitch streamer Casey Tron suspended over coronavirus quote unquote joke. So this person had made a joke about wishing that the coronavirus would spread because we don't need the specific demographic of people that are how can I say this?
Affected by it.
Affected by the coronavirus.
Most likely to die.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So saying we don't need this certain demographic of people, and obviously, like whether that's a joke or not, Twitch is not the place to be making these kinds of comments. You're not a stand-up comedian, you know, like you're not like Twitch is just not the place to do offensive humor. It just isn't. Like,
and I think there's a difference in offensive humor and just being a jerk.
Right.
Like
yeah,
you can say something that's kind of offensive, but good God, man.
Right.
It's verging on hate speech.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you
Oh,
just
for sure.
your whole
It's verging
thing
on
was
hate
to
speech.
be edgy and
Mhm.
you failed miserably. Bye.
Yeah. Right.
I'm assuming she just made a coronavirus boomer joke,
Yeah. Yep.
essentially.
Yeah, there's
Yeah. But everybody should go out and spread it because that will, we don't really need the people anyway that will be affected.
Right.
You know.
Well, first off, I think the biggest the biggest issue here for me is just one, the misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, listen, if one of the four was caught CV, one of us would probably, I mean, like, not really, but there's a chance one of us could probably just not be here tomorrow with it. Like,
There's
that's,
a
it's
chance. Yeah,
it's
for
not it's
There's
not
always
just
a
affecting
chance.
people in that one demographic. It's
Mhm.
literally affecting a lot of people.
And
I
it's
do-
not necessarily
I do
that it would
think
kill
that
people.
was-
Just because one of us gets it doesn't mean that it wouldn't give us long-term health issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we don't necessarily die from it, but it can leave people with issues with their lungs and stuff for the rest of their life. You know,
Mhm.
but let's be honest, this is something this is affecting every single person in the world just now. You know, pick your moments. You know, there are things that are, you know, and 2, 3, 4 months after Corona, once it all goes away, make jokes. Yeah, let's have fun. You know, I mean, we can look back on it, we can laugh, we
Right.
can, we can break the tension of what went on. But right now, when there are people
Suffering.
dying,
Yeah.
there are people suffering, there are people struggling that have lost their jobs, are fearing they're going to lose their houses. You know,
Mhm.
but yeah, let's make a big joke about how certain groups of people aren't needed. Ridiculous.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And I think like even during all of this there are jokes that you can make. Like how many memes have you guys seen about like working from home, not wearing pants,
Right.
haha, like things like that.
Yeah,
Right.
There
exactly.
are jokes that you can make to make light of a situation, but just flat out wishing death on a certain group of people is not a
Right.
joke to ever make, and you're a garbage person if you think it is.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just I mean, I don't want to get too into like the actual statistics behind the coronavirus or anything because that's not what we're here for. But you know, just making sure that people understand that you need to be careful with what you're saying as a streamer. You have to. And if you're going to be making jokes like this, it's not about just not saying that kind of joke. It's about changing who you are as a person and trying to be a better person than that, because that's the thing with Twitch is like you can put on the face of having a good personality all you want, but eventually it's going to slip. You know what I mean? Like if you really don't think that you should be making certain kinds of jokes, then you should not make those kinds of jokes off stream, on stream, any of that, because eventually you're going to like someone's going to catch you slipping and it's going to end up with you getting a ban like it did for this person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. It's not worth the negativity behind a joke like that. You know, like whether she got banned or not, it's not worth it. It's just like that kind of humor isn't. It's just not a way to live. You know what I mean? Regardless of whether or not you get banned from Twitch for saying it, there's so much more you could do that's way more productive. There's funnier things that you could say. There's so many wrong things with this comment, as we've all touched on.
And that's the thing. You know, I get some people use comedy as a way to cope with stressful situations and stuff like that. But joking about people dying, it's just never.
Right.
Just
That's
not
too
funny.
far.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
not funny. Do you know what I mean?
Especially
Like,
while people are dying because of it.
while it's actually happening.
Right.
You know, it's just like. And if people do think that what's the big deal, they really need to have a look at their own attitude and view of the world, you know, because it might just be numbers to people, but these are human beings. They're
Right.
human beings with lives, with relatives and friends, with dreams and aspirations, you know. So joking about them passing, it's beyond the pale.
Right.
Beyond the pale.
Agreed. We got a couple questions from Green Core that I want to touch up on. I think we have just enough time to go over. So first one is, I have a pretty interesting topic for you guys. Thinking for a corporate brand account, what type of content do you think would be the best to do for viewers? Should it be gameplay with a brand community, question and answer, interviews with staff, more professional versus relaxed content, etc.? What sort of content would you expect to see or like to see out of a big brand Twitch account, such as NVIDIA, Lenovo, Ryzen, companies like that? What kind of content would you guys like to see as far as Twitch streaming goes for bigger brands in this kind of streaming atmosphere that we're in, like those ones?
Tech directs and giveaways attached to those tech directs.
Yeah.
So you know how Nintendo has their, like, you know, once every year at this point, Nintendo Directs. Still waiting, by the way. So yeah, because those, I like those for multiple reasons. One, it gives you a good look into new tech coming out, and people love new things.
Yeah.
Two, it gives you a chance to show off creativity and get like your brand ideas out there. You can drop big news all at once in a big like bubble, but instead of just like slow article leaks. And with you have the opportunity to bring in different influencers, different people of different backgrounds, different communities, have them come in and have them kind of give a small like talk about it or like kind of present kind of how, you know, the E3 awards and all that. And also with giveaways behind it too, again, people will check in for the giveaway. That's an obvious boom right there. But you also have a physical, tangible product to like show that, hey, this is actually here. You can actually get one of these that we're talking about right now. And right there, I'm not sure what the conversion rate will be on that directly, but that will be a great awareness, I think, especially if you hype it up a bit more. Because I think Nintendo Directs, I'm not sure how many of you guys like watch those, but I watch those religiously. Just because the presentation value behind it and what you get as a viewer out of it kind of builds community in and of itself too.
Yep.
So I think that's a good way to do it with a big product like NVIDIA and all of them. You know, different software features. For instance, they could use they could do one on their GeForce Now program, which I'm not sure a lot of people know about or people don't know about, but it's their live streaming game service. And this would be a great time to put together like a small presentation for it and then just get people like trying it out. I think it's in beta right now, but it's like, yeah, that's what I think would be something good. Like events that allow you to advertise a product that I want to see, that I want to buy, that I'm interested in, and do it in a fun and comparison way.
All right. Dog gaming.
I'd like to see a couple of things. I'd like to see from bigger companies. I like to see interviews with staff, but more than that, what I'd like to see is staff footage from them gaming. You know, actually see, you know, what they're getting up to. Because I think a big issue personally for me is how cold and, you know, distant companies can seem, especially huge companies like NVIDIA and stuff like that. Personalizing that, you know, goes a long way for me for trust in a company. Do you know what I mean? And also, you know, these are the kind of things that can help in the long run. When, you know, and, you know, every big company hopes they don't, but, you know, sooner or later there's going to be a stumble, you know. And when you're dealing with just a faceless company, it's a lot easier for people to be a lot nastier and a lot more vitriolic and a lot less sensible about things, you know. And the conversation can go in the wrong direction too easily. Whereas, you know, if we see more from big companies about their staff, finding out about them, what their hobbies are, seeing them play some games and having some fun, it personalizes it and it changes it from just being a company to actually being a bunch of people that you think, hey, they're cool. I could maybe be friends with that person, what have you, you know, we could go on. And that, to me, that's a big thing. I'd like to see more of that and less of the idea of companies just being a monolithic thing that sells products to people, you know.
Right.
You know, bring back the personable idea, bring back an idea of, you know, we are a family here. Many companies pride themselves on the fact that, you know, all the people that work together, we feel like a family, we feel, you know, close and connected. Share that with us, share that with people out there, and bring back more of the idea of a family or friendly brand rather than just a monolithic name that just, you know, does what it does. You know,
Right.
personally for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. MPI.
I think from like big hardware brands, kind of like Sadomi said, product launches are really good. Or if there's a new update coming out to your software for your product, like your the GeForce experience or anything like that, having a stream talking about those things is really nice. And one big thing that I think it would be very important to focus on with that, though, is making sure that it's not just word vomit of here are the specs, here's all the really technical jargon, because not everyone understands that. They want to know how it's going to actually make things better for them. So like Greencord mentioned in chat, don't do what Sony did and have a fake press conference in front of a clear green screen where you have someone just talking about like how this is going to work for developers and just going so deep into this technology that people who aren't a developer are looking at it going, okay, well, what does it do? Why do I care? So if you're going to announce a product on a live stream like that, make sure that it makes sense to everyone. If you're trying to do like a developer conference, maybe you need to like find a way to direct that to those people only, but don't just throw it out on YouTube or Twitch. I also really agree with any kind of giveaways are really nice. I'm not saying if you're a graphics card manufacturer that you have to give away like 25 of your nicest graphics cards. But, throw some t-shirts in there, some water bottles. And maybe at the end of it, say we're going to do one really big graphics card giveaway. The rest of it, you could win a shirt, a hat, things that are tangible items that are actually useful. Because I don't want you to send me like a keychain. Like,
Right.
Or I have 400 keychains. I don't care. Like a shirt is nice. I can wear it. I can care about it. If you're a developer, like a game developer, taking time with the developers that do different things in the studio and playing that game while talking about their part of creating the game is so fun to watch. So like if I've seen a lot of places do that where they'll bring in an artist, they'll bring in someone who writes code, they'll bring in someone who does lighting and sound, and they will play the game together and they'll talk about like, oh, this part's really cool because of this like little feature that you may not have noticed. And then during that time, a lot of times they'll give out like a code to the game or the newest expansion. They'll give away a few codes, things like that. If you're a big company like that, I think giveaways are huge because it makes people want to watch, but also it gives back to your community who are there to support you, if that makes sense. So I think those are really cool things to see, and anybody can adapt things like that to them. If you're a band, you can live stream, a review of your album and like why you wrote that song, and then talk about why that song's important. Or you can even just say like, hey, we're in the studio, so-and-so is going to track guitar in the background, and we're going to talk to you guys while he does it. And you know what? Cool. Here's a sticker. Here's a t-shirt. Throw them out there every now and then. Something to make people interested in your much larger brand than, an individual streamer.
Yeah, and touching back with the PS5 thing. So I kind of understand why they did it that way. They're going to have a conference at GDC, Game Developers Convention. So of course they want to talk about that there. But I guess with the whole, worldwide pandemic, I'll give them a bit more leeway because, the whole mess got messed up.
Right.
But definitely, targeting a proper target audience, because even though you have that, people on YouTube are going to look at that as the first look at the console, and anybody who is a layperson, we're like, what did I just watch?
Right.
Yeah. And in reality, they needed more razzmatazz. At the end of the day, when people tuning in to see the release of something new, they want big things. They want big, bright. They want
the production.
Exactly. They want production value, and they want to see something because. And you're right, like PS5, Sony, they knew what they were doing. They deliberately did what they were doing. But I'm not a console player. Just sitting watching on social media, the reaction, it wasn't good. It wasn't, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
Your general populace of players, you know, they weren't happy. Yeah, sure, there was a certain percentage were like, I'm loving this. This is the best. You know, this is fantastic. I've never seen a release like this or information like this. But the vast majority of people were tuning in to see games. They were tuning in to hear what the exclusives are. They were tuning in to see actual physical representation of what's going on. And to me, Sony missed the mark. They missed.
It looked like it was a closed door meeting.
Yeah, it wasn't even that.
It was a live.
Terrible green screen. If you watched any of it, they were animated like fake figures who would every now and then like very much like stiffly shift. And the only thing that was real in that room, it looks like, was the person talking, his podium, and his Vio laptop that he never looked at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, again, because of the whole worldwide pandemic, I assume they had to throw something together really quickly. So I'm not too harsh on them for that.
You're also a multi-billion-dollar company. You don't need a fake audience. Just set him on a background and be like, "Hey, this is what we're going to talk about today."
But also, in the long run, has this done more damage than cancelling it would have done? I mean, you can cancel it. You can say because of the pandemic, you know, look, we had plans to do this, you know, but we're going to have to delay it. Has this done more damage for some people? You know, are some people who are now thinking, hey, I might be thinking going to the Xbox or whatever. I'm not happy with PlayStation. Would they have just been sitting thinking, I'm excited for this. I'm disappointed, but I'm excited for the next announcement.
Right.
So I don't think it hurt as much as people think it hurt, or maybe I'm kind of my own head's in the sand, or I'm kind of just too into the tech itself part of it. But I feel like if you're a gamer and you're already in the sphere, you're going to have to get a new console pretty soon anyway. Like this is how it works. Like you can't use your PS4 for the rest of your life if you want to play games made in 2023. Like that's not going to happen. So. And right now, legitimately, Sony's real only competition, console-wise, I think, is Xbox. Because the Switch is a whole different market, and that's the best console this generation.
The Venn diagram it's not overlapping that much.
So when it comes to that, I think a bigger argument is just price, what games are coming out for it, like the launch titles. What promised IPs, and this press conference I think just didn't really hurt anything. It just kind of lessened the announcement of the PS5. So it's not. I don't think it's gonna dig in too hard. It's gonna be almost negligible, I think. But it's.
I'm going to be honest.
What does Xbox know? What do you know about Xbox? Actually,
I'm going to be honest. I don't know, right? Because from what I've seen, now I'm viewing this as a complete outsider because I don't play consoles at all. I don't own any of them, so. I have no dog in this fight, but from what I've seen, you know, their announcement, the specs for the new PlayStation aren't as good as the specs for the new Xbox, right? But they went with an announcement that is heavy on specs. You see what I'm saying? So they have themselves shot themselves in the foot. You know, here we're pushing the specs, but then everybody's able to turn around and go, well, apart from your SSD speed, Xbox is blowing you out the water here on everything, you know? So this is why, to me, they should have been leaning more on the idea of these exclusive titles. These are exclusive games. This is what it's going to look like. Because at the end of the day, you know, if you give people something to judge apples for apples, they're going to judge apples for apples. The specs on the PlayStation aren't as good as the specs on the Xbox, and PlayStation haven't given any other reason at the moment to buy the PlayStation. Now, sure, down the line, you're right, but you know, exclusive titles, that's going to play a big part in it. But until those exclusive titles are out just now, they have lost ground, and Xbox are leading. You know, now at the end of the day, when you've got a 2-horse race, any time you spend behind is a lot of time lost. You know, and to me, they've put themselves behind on this announcement.
I think too, the other big problem with it is, you know, Microsoft announced theirs and went, hey, here's all of our specs. Oh, by the way, you guys want to see the console? Great, here's the console. You want to see some exclusives? Great, here's some exclusives. Cool, this is what we showed to the public. And then Sony just said, we're just going to broadcast our developer conference live for anyone in the world to see it, and everyone's going to think this is the announcement, and no one saw a console. We saw specs which were literally, he just went SSDs are fast. basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Congratulations. And then he just goes into like a huge thing about all of the things it's going to do for developers. Okay, well, what's it going to do for me? And I agree they need to have these developer conferences where people can really get that deep dive. But again, maybe what would have been better from someone in the Sony's PR department who, again, $1 billion corporation probably has one of those, would have said, hey, no, don't put that on the internet to everyone because people are going to freak out and think they're seeing the new console. Here is, our own website with a live stream on it that we are going to send directly to the developers. They can watch it, and then that's the end of it. And then at the end of it, if we want to say, here are the specifications and put them out on Twitter, because let's be honest, someone's going to tweet them. Just say, hey guys, we did a developer conference today. Here's the specs for the console. We aren't ready to show you the console just yet for like a public announcement. We'll get you that as soon as we can. Great. Would have been fine. But it being live streamed to everyone just gave such a feeling of we're going to see everything that we need to know about the new PS5 that's coming out, and we got nothing. So I think it just put a bad taste in people's mouth because they were like, well, what was this? Why did this exist? And I think that was the big problem. Is it just it was a failure to communicate by someone somewhere, or just a failure to think about how this would work? Because again, a PR department worth their salt should see that.
I think it was a failure of just being under crunch and not knowing what exactly to do.
Yeah. And I mean, at that point, though, they should have just said, okay, well, sorry, we're going to do this in another week. We're going to take some time. We'll shoot a video or whatever you want, and then we'll send it to these developers instead of rushing to get it out there, because it seems like it's done more harm than good for them at this point.
I think so.
I figured out what the problem was. They didn't define their target audience.
Yep, exactly.
That's what it was. Okay, boom.
Yeah, absolutely. Now what they did was perfect for devs. That's perfect. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
All the information. Yeah. Devs are lapping that up. And there's certainly a certain percentage of PlayStation players who aren't devs that are also enjoying that. That's great. But the vast majority, that was word salad. That was just X amount of minutes of word salad that was not what they wanted to see.
I didn't even finish it.
Right.
Same.
I just turned it off. I was like, I can't listen to whatever he's talking about because it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I have a general understanding of it, but why do I care to watch this for so long?
Exactly.
Like, again, all you have to do is go SSD fast, graphic good. That's all I care about. So why are we still talking about this? And then the more I watched it, I was like, this is not for me. This is for a developer. And then also, I could not get over the terrible green screen set that they had, and I had to get away from it.
It looked like a bunch of devs, a bunch of computer design devs did it.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't even people. It was clearly like stock footage that Sony had somewhere of animations of people like leaning back and forth with like the back of their head being the only thing that you could see.
Yeah. It was amateur hour, and that's what I meant about rather than putting that out, just delete it. People will be disappointed. Yes, they'll be disappointed, but they're not going to be doubting the product. And some people are now doubting the product because of what they've seen.
Yeah.
And they went about it completely, ass over head.
And the hard part is, like, Sony, this current still generation of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, Sony kicked Microsoft's butt in product announcement. They beat the crap out of them in that. And then now Microsoft came out and was like, we're the only ones that actually showed anything, and people are pretty hyped for it, man.
Right.
Like, Sony had the advantage and could have kept going with it, and have now, taken second place because, like I said, Microsoft just came out and was like, boom, here's everything.
Yeah, I mean, so it sounds like, Green, to answer your question, be everything you can, do everything you can to be not like Sony at all. And I totally agree with everything they were saying about the behind the scenes content. I think that's always great, like trying to hype up any products that you have coming out. Behind the scenes, like videos and stuff like that, are really cool. Interviews with people that you normally wouldn't get to see, like seeing the passion that the employees have behind their products is always really, really cool. So that's what I would say to answer that question. We do have one more question I want to touch real quick. I know we're past our time, but this is a very this is a very good one. Green Court says, I see a lot of people wanting to try streaming for the first time, being stuck inside right now. General advice for people with limited setups wanting to try their first stream, i.e. my sister wants to stream limited to a MacBook right now. So just a few little tips that you can give, or any certain products that are cheap and easily attainable that you think people should know they should have, and also tips to, just being a streamer in general. We'll start off with Sadomi real quick.
Use what you have for the first 6 months, then buy used, because you're going to have a lot of used equipment going on the markets pretty soon.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
All right.
Dog game, though.
Don't try and buy a camera just now. It's impossible.
Yeah, that too.
Try to buy 2 the other day. No, it's not happening.
What kind of? Just any camera?
Logitech C920s, C920s.
Really?
Yeah,
because everyone uses it for remote work. Yeah.
Webcams and USB headsets are like next to impossible to find right now because of that.
Okay.
Because so many people are going work from home, and they're going to be using Microsoft Teams dropped.
Yep.
And gave like a bunch of free stuff away, so they're going to be doing like video meetings because so those are hard to find right now. So if you have a laptop that has a built-in webcam, you got a little bit of an advantage there, I think.
Yeah.
Right. One thing that I would say is use Twitch Studio if you're really new. It's not, you can't do a lot with it, but the ease of access and like the setup ease that you have with Twitch Studio will be very, very, very crucial compared to using OBS or Streamlabs OBS, which are a little bit less streamer beginner friendly. There's a lot of research that goes into setting those programs up, as opposed to Twitch Studio, which asks you I think it's just like a few questions.
Like log in, basically. Is it available?
Yeah, exactly.
On Mac, though?
That I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because I actually I helped somebody set up streaming from their Mac the other day, and still in the year 2020, you have to have a third-party plugin to have desktop audio captured by OBS.
On Macs?
Yep.
Oof.
Yep.
Wow, that is.
It wasn't hard to set up, but it was very much. I was talking with them. I was like, I don't know how to help you other than send you this article, because why? So you will have to set that up if you're streaming from a Mac.
Does it still have the one-button mouse as standard? The Macs. The last time I used a Mac, the standard mouse had.
Oh yeah, they still don't have a right click.
No right click.
You still have to double press.
No right click.
Yeah.
I don't get Mac.
And then you pee through the nose for it, like when I bought my new PC and I was looking at it, and then I looked at what I would have to pay to get a Mac at the same specs. It was like 4 times as much. Like, seriously.
Yeah,
I think
the way I put it, Macs are for people. Windows for people who want to control their PC, while Macs for people who want to get things done with their PC.
Mac is an appliance for sure, as opposed to a tool like a PC is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Twitch Studio, if you can get a camera, like if you have the option to get a C920 for cheap or for a regular price, grab that. The Blue Snowball is a good beginner microphone if you're looking for a microphone. I don't know if those are more difficult to grab either, but
if you want,
there you go. Hit up Sadomi. And then also just knowing that you can just do a just chatting stream, and it'll be, there's nothing wrong with just doing a just chatting stream, even though it's, the very beginning of you streaming, you might not have a community or anything. Put yourself out there, get used to talking to chat, even if chat's not talking to you. Yeah. And then you keep listening to StreamKey. We got some pretty good topics on here as well on how we can help you. So you can always ask us questions on Twitter, stream_key, I believe, or you can come on here and ask us questions via Twitch chat or call in. But I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for another great show. Dog Gaming, where can people find you, and what have you been doing lately with your with Twitch and whatnot?
Well, you can find me at dog_gaming on Twitch. It's Dog Gaming on all other platforms. And I'm a variety streamer with a focus on community and having a space where you can talk about mental health, which at this time, with everything that's going on, I think it's very important. So yeah, absolutely. Somewhere where you can come in, talk about what's going to happen, no judgment, and people there to lend an ear. Absolutely.
Awesome. MPI, where can people find you, and what have you been streaming lately?
Yeah. So you can find me on all platforms as Mr. Pure Instinct, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, if you want. I've been streaming the Doom games. I just finished Doom 2016 to start Doom Eternal. So we are ripping and tearing, listening to death metal and killing a bunch of demons. It's a great time. Other than that, we've still got Skyrim in the background once we finish that, and probably going to try to do some more just chatting streams as this goes on and continues to have us stuck at home. We'll probably be doing more of that because I did it the other night and had fun. Working on plenty of YouTube videos for you guys who are new to streaming or working from home and need some tips on how to get started. Those will definitely be rolling out. So check it out, YouTube and Twitch as well. And just like Dog, if you need a place to be and talk about mental health or just escape for a little while, everywhere that I have is a safe place for that. That's the whole reason I started doing this stuff. So feel free to vent, talk, chat, whatever you need to do. No judgment. We're there for you.
Awesome. So, Domi, where can people find you, and what have you been streaming? Oh, you're muted.
Muted.
Thank you. I took a note. I was like, I'm muted. Let me sure I pressed the button, but I didn't. But anyway, you can find me at twitch.tv/ Okay.
Wow.
Wow. That killed me. That killed my entire soul. Oh my god. I'm sitting on twitch.tv/ Sadomi. I'm trying to pay off Tom Nook's debt because that's the only debt I can really dig into right now.
Okay.
The fantasy of owning a home is beautiful. So yeah, I'm doing that right now. Twitch.tv/ Sadomi, YouTube.com/Sadomi, Twitter.tv/ SadomiTV. You can catch me there. See you all on my island, hopefully, at some point. Mwah.
Awesome. And I'm Belloc_TV on everything. VLKK_TV. Been doing a lot of Call of Duty Warzone, some Red Dead, and I just bought Doom 2016 and Far Cry Primal, which I'll probably be streaming at some point. But yeah, Belloc_TV on everything. Thanks again, everybody, for calling in, asking us questions, being here, just chatting with us. We really appreciate it. We really like helping everybody out. So if you do have any questions on streaming on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, YouTube, DLive, whatever it is, if you have any issues, make sure to hit us up on Twitter at stream_key. You can also join up in the Discord, or you can come in here next week, Monday morning, 11 a.m. EST, and ask us questions then. Thanks again, everybody. Love you all. Have a great day. And as always, Sadomi.
Blazing!
There you go. Take it easy, peeps.